Alright, boys, we have the Overlord skill information. First of all, Ainz. Let's start with Ainz. So, what Ainz does is he increases his own basic stats by 30%, right? 10% for each unknown, and then he also gets 50% if you have 5 debuffs on them, which is super easy in unknown. So I'm just gonna say he gets 50% basic stats and he gets 30%. Okay, boom. And then also what he does is that every time an unknown ally, including himself obviously, uses a skill on enemy, similar to like Infinity Merlin, Ban, you know, them ones, you get a mark of death on an enemy. Okay, and at 4 mark of deaths, if you pop that mark with a single target, they will be given a death sentence. Now, mark of death makes them do a little bit less damage, which in the showcase I couldn't really like notice. And then the actual death sentence kills you, right? They didn't show this. Okay, so my first impression, if this actually kills you, kind of broken, because that just means turn 2 you always have a guaranteed kill on someone, unless obviously they cleanse it, which Meli would cleanse it, right? So it wouldn't work on him. You know, a bunch of people just nowadays cleanse, okay? So we'll have to see, right? We'll have to see. But this looks really promising. I do think he's not the best though. I think this is like this whole thing is just this gimmick, okay? His cards, he does his single target, right, that you pop the thing with, already is supposed to kill them. So if they don't die to it, like the passive is useless, and the passive works. And if they do die to it, then his passive is useless. So I feel like it's a kind of like, it's not a good system. And there's AoE, reduce attack related stats by 20%. This is like Green Lily AoE, I think. I think she has this, or like something similar at least to it. And then his ultimate is cool, right? It just does more. It does big damage. Right? It's a 6/6. If it's 6/6, it does big damage, and then that's really it. I'm not too big of a fan of him. Anyway, now we have maybe the best unit. Let me show you 2 clips, okay? So let's go over Kit first. Okay, so her single target is a debuff skill. They got this wrong, by the way. And it does 450% of her attack, whatever, who cares? Obviously, the skill is going to be like 180, 270, and then 450, right? And then applies extra 80% damage reduction for 2 turns. So you do 80% less damage. This effect, because it doesn't like say anything, definitely scales. So like a rank 1 is like 30%, rank 2 is thingy. But I can actually check in the showcase. And then her second one is a taunt, right? A stance. And it has amplify on it, okay? So if you just look at regular taunts, they don't do damage, usually, right? You get Green Esther also, even if you juice him up, he won't do damage. This taunt has amplify, okay? And she gets absolute defense for 1 turn at the start battle. When you take a stance, your basic stats increase by 20%, which is a buff. It gives up to 5 effects that increase attack related stats, so 5 buffs, but 10% for 3 turns. And if you do not take damage, apply it to all enemies at the start of your ally's turn. Wait, what? Huh? I don't understand. I don't think this is like. Anyway, it gives up to 5 that increase attack set by 10% for 50 turn. And if you do not take damage, apply it to all enemies at the start of your turn. I don't know what that means. Oh, effect. Oh, takes 40% more damage. Oh, I see. Okay. Also, when you sense release, so when it goes away, you'll be given 20% attack rates 20% attack related stats, which is huge. Increase effect for 2 turns on all. Oh, okay, whatever. And each other person, your basic stats will be reduced by will be increased by 7%. Obviously, these are like very interesting translations, like Google translations. But pretty much all you have to know is she gets a bunch of stats, she gets a bunch of attack rate stats, she reduces your damage by a lot, and she has a stance with amplify on it. Okay, baseline. And then for each buff on her, she reduces damage. Okay, so up to 40% damage reduction, which is pretty good. And then now, if you look at this, this is her on the rank 2 counter. Okay, she will kill you. Okay, now the thing is with these counters is that on rank 1 and 2 they last 1 turn, so it's really easy to play around them. But because this works in PvE, she's going to be insane in PvP. Although a lot of like the fights and stuff, they reduce counter damage, but like still, I think she's going to be insane. It's really hard to judge on PvP. Like she does seem really crazy, but we'll have to see how realistic it is to just not attack that turn. Or like have like a rank 2 cruel stun that removes stance, or like a stance rule on like Freya or something, right? And then we'll have to see if how well that does, right? Like a stun on Liz if you're learning Goddess for some reason, right? Demons don't really have a cancel stance. Yeah, they don't really have that. But they don't want to attack anyway, right? Like their whole goal, they just don't want to attack. Demon King, boom, there you go, you won, right? So like I feel like Albedo is not as crazy as you might think she is, but we also have this one, where I assume it was a rank 3 counter. I didn't see it, but she has 400k on a crit. It is time advantage, but like that's still insane, right? Look at his face. Look at his face, now look at my face. Okay, so anyway, Albedo seems really insane. Then we have Shalltear. Shalltear has AoE Infect, and her Holy Relic, let me just explain like this. Her Holy Relic makes it so, her passive, sorry, makes it so when she does an AoE, she applies bleed. Right, it's in the passive. Yeah, also when you deal damage with an all attack skill, a bleeding effect applied to the enemy for 2 turns, okay? So she applies bleed, which is good because in her single target, if the enemy has bleed, she does double crit damage and double damage and double crit damage. So that's insane, right? That's a lot of damage, which again they didn't show because it's a JP showcase. And then her AoE is just infect, which is really good, right? We haven't gotten a lot of like unknown infects recently, right? So this is good that we get her. And her ultimate is just like kill everything, right? I mean, like I feel like I don't have to mention ultimate because obviously if you're gonna use them, they're gonna kill everything. But like Grand Cross PvP matches right now are not really like ultimate focus anyway. So the rest of her passive is for each unknown race ally, she gets 7% basic stats. Okay, cool. 21% basic stats, not bad, right? And together with all the other like basic stats is insane. When you deal damage to an enemy or when an ally receives damage using a skill during the enemy's turn, you will be given 1 HP related ability increase effect for 7%. So you get your 7% HP related stats up to 3 times. Okay, so lifesteal, recovery rate. Then at the start of your ally's turn, if there are 3 effects, right? If you have 3 of these HP related stats, you remove them and you get Frenzy. Frenzy gives you 50% attack rate stats. So she's like Purgatory Meli. She gets attacked 3 times, she gets 50% attack rate stats. Or her team gets attacked 3 times, she gets 50% attack rate stats. And then she has a card that does this. So, seems very insane to me. And then Frenzy only lasts 1 turn, right? Now, while you have Frenzy, you have 30% less defense rate stats, right? But only lasts 1 turn. So if your enemies don't manage to kill you because you have like an Albedo taunt or something up on that turn, you come back to your turn, you don't have Frenzy anymore, but you heal for like your entire HP. Okay? This is 100% HP. Because of how recovery rate and everything is in this game, this is pretty much 100% HP. And recovers the HP of all allies of the damage she inflicts on enemies affected by a bleeding effect, right? So she'll do big damage on this card and heal everyone. Okay? Now, unfortunately, PvE, you can't really make that work because debuffs don't work in PvE, right? Because this game is bad. But in PvP, she will keep your team alive. And we don't have any healers in PvP. Not a single one. Right? We don't have a single healer in PvP right now. So this is really cool. Then we have the goat Cocytus. He's the free unit. He does amplify damage. Okay, single target. Right. He has Damare. Right. He has the Gallant card. And then he has detonate. He has detonate single target and he has amplify single target. Okay, really cool. Very basic kit, but like pretty cool. And then his ultimate is Assault Melee ultimate. Right. So he gets buffs and everything. Boom. Now the interesting part is his amplify. How does he get buffs? His Holy Relic. When you use a skill in PvE, give your allies a 10% increase in all stats for 10 turns. That will be a buff that appears above your head, and there's no limit on this. Because it's PvE, right? So they're like, whatever. When you use a skill to damage an PvP, all debuff effects on your allies will be removed. All allies and your allies will receive an 8% HP increase effect for each debuff removed for 3 turns. Up to 5 times. Insane. Insane. Like, he's so crazy. This guy will, like, roll any demonic beast battle. I'm gonna make a bird video, I guess. Because I just want to show, like, how big the buff is. Maybe I'll do like Skull and Hardy, maybe even, or like or maybe I'll do Nidhogg actually. Maybe if you can do an unknown team of Nidhogg, I might actually do that because it would be cool. But yeah, they're insane. They're insane. I think honestly, all of them are good. Ainz is the most like not so good character in my opinion, but like they're all still good. Anyway, should you summon though? We'll have to wait. But they seem crazy. Their outfits are actually not that bad. Albedo's outfits are pretty good. I haven't seen Cocytus' outfits, but yeah. Anyway, that's it from me, boys. Good job.